Hi and a very warm welcome to Growing in Harmony. So I'm here at the end of March and I'm just having a little look at our garlic bed. So we planted this garlic, which seems ages ago, back in November, and it's actually come on really well. Some of the leaves are looking a little bit yellow, so I'm thinking there might be a little short of nitrogen. There was some wood chip added to this bed, and if it's not fully degraded or degraded enough, it can actually take nitrogen from the soil rather than give it. So what I'm going to use today is some chicken manure, pelleted chicken manure, and this is really good stuff. You can use it as a liquid feed, you can use it as a feed. It doesn't actually feed the plants. What it does is it benefits the soil, and it's full of trace minerals and all sorts of other lovely stuff that can then be made available to the plants by improving the soil, which is always the way in organic horticulture. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to fill in the gaps. I've got some extra garlic plants here that I dug up from somewhere else. They weren't meant to be there, so I'm going to fill in the gaps where ones haven't grown. And also in between the rows I'm going to put in some spring onions. So this year we're practicing with sowing in modules for things that can be multi-sown, and spring onions is one of the things that you can do. So you might be able to see I've got like maybe 5 or 6 seedlings in each module, and I'm just going to plant them as a clump, and then the spring onions will grow as a clump in the same position. They'll grow outwards, so you still get the thick stems of a spring onion and you're saving space. So we're going to be trialling that this year, so I'll be interested to see how that goes with radishes, different other salads, beetroots, even turnips. They can all be multi-sown as well. So I'm just going to crack on with this. So I've just sprinkled a little bit around each plant here, and then over there I've actually got some of our homemade compost, and I've put some of the chicken pellets in with it because it's advised. So I'm just comparing how the two will go. It does say on the tub that you can't use too much, which is good, but I think just a little sprinkle. It does smell a bit, so if you wear gloves and make sure you wash your hands afterwards. So like I say, here's some garlic that sprouted from last year. This was actually a bulb that I missed when I was harvesting our garlic, and as you can see it's got separate little plants where each clove has started to grow, so that's a bonus. And I'm just going to fill in the gaps here, and these are lovely. They've got a gorgeous pink tinge to them. They're really pretty. The soil's a bit firm here, so I think I'll get some compost and put that round there as well in a little bit. And I'm literally just filling in the gaps. And in the gaps here, in between the two rows, I'm just going to make a trench for my modules. The soil is quite wet, so I think I'm going to leave that trench open, put my spring onions into it, and then I'm going to infill that with some compost, just so that it's better for water drainage. And then literally with the modules, just squeeze underneath as gently as you can, and then just fill. That one's fallen apart. I did water them, but it's been one of those days today. A couple of inches apart, and just make sure they're in all right. So there's one that's come out as it's meant to. I watered them again, and I'm going to pop that in the hole, and then I'm just going to use some ordinary potting compost because I think that'll be a good mix with the soil that's in the bed. I think this will give it some drainage and hopefully get some air in there as well. They can be a bit tricky when they're this tiny to get them in, but we've had the experience that it's actually worth doing this because sometimes the seed gets eaten or it doesn't germinate, and if you plant them like this, it just gives you a bit of a head start and you know that you're going to get a crop. That's great. And they won't take up too much space and they'll be ready to pull well before the garlic's ready. There we go. Now I'll break up a little bit of that soil and add that to the top as well.